Hi everyone! Today we will be adding data labels to our EBITDA chart. This will be a compound data label that will consist of EBITDA value itself, variance in percentages, showing how far we are below or above the budgeted level of EBITDA that we established here, and the symbol showing us where we are, below or above the budgeted EBITDA level. Here we are building a customized profit and loss statement where we're able to slice the data by country/profit center, product. We can also switch on and off different types of costs from the income statement and see how the business performs with or without this or that type of costs. We will also be able to see the income statement by segment. All tutorial links you will be able to find in the description of this video. If you find these short tutorials valuable, please like, share and subscribe to our YouTube channel. So let's start with the measure itself. The name for this measure will be DL EBITDA. DL will be for the data label. So in fact, if we look at the data labels, we will see two scenarios for the EBITDA data labels. First scenario, below the budget, and the second scenario, above the budget. Symbols here are different. This means we have two conditions that we have to mention in our formula. Let's start with the scenario when we are above the budgeted level of EBITDA. If actual EBITDA is higher or equal to budgeted level of EBITDA, then we are starting with an upper arrow symbol, showing us that we are above the budgeted level of the EBITDA. For that, we will be using Unicode function. The number for the upper arrow will be 9650. I'm picking Unicode symbols from this website. The link I will place in the description of this video. Here is this upper arrow symbol. Then we're adding and symbol, now placing actual EBITDA value. Now we're proceeding to the next part of the data label, variance, starting with the space between actual EBITDA and variance. Adding and symbol again, and writing the DAX for the variance. This will be actual EBITDA minus budgeted EBITDA. Otherwise, we will return 0. This is not the whole measure, but I want to assign it in order to show you all small steps that will be coming through while we will be building this compound data label for the EBITDA. To be able to assign this data label measure, we need to start with the measure that will be illustrating us where the data label itself will be living on the chart. For that, we will create a new measure with the name EBITDA DL height. Its formula will be very simple. I just want to create a sum for all bars, gray, red and green. Plus we will be multiplying or adding some coefficient to place this data label a bit higher than the bar itself. Now selecting our chart, I want to add EBITDA DL height measure to line y-axis area. Let's assign our data label measure. Go into Format your visual, Data Labels on. Switch off all data labels but EBITDA DL height. Go into Value. In this field, we need to drag the measure that we've just created for the EBITDA compound data label, DL EBITDA. At this time, we see that we need to add some formatting to the actual and variance values for the EBITDA, starting with formatting the actual level for the EBITDA. Also adding formatting to EBITDA variance. I also want to add plus sign in brackets when we are above the budgeted level for the EBITDA. Opening the brackets. Closing the brackets. Now moving to the scenario when we are below the budgeted EBITDA level. Starting with adjustment of condition. Here we also need to adjust the formula. This will be budgeted level of EBITDA minus actual level of the EBITDA. For this scenario, we will be using another Unicode symbol, 9660. This will be down arrow. In variance formatting, I will be adding minus, showing that we are below the budgeted level for the EBITDA, otherwise 0, and we are done with our data label. Now we need to delete this line. Now we can play with slicers, and we will be able to see how our data label will be reacting accordingly. Next tutorial, we will be devoting to conditional formatting for this data label. Plus, we will do some axis alignment for this data label. All tutorial links you will be able to find in the description of this video. If you find these short tutorials valuable, please like, share and subscribe to our YouTube channel.